There have been many technological changes and advancements in the past few years that have changed the organizational designs of several businesses. While this is good news for some people, it's bad for others. One disadvantage to new technology is that it's leaving fast food workers jobless. The fast food industry employs more minimum wage workers than any other industry. In recent years, some of McDonald's locations around the world have replaced their cashiers with touchscreens or kiosks. The company wanted to do this to reduce labor costs, but has not done away completely with workers. In fact, McDonald's is not the only franchise that has introduced new kiosks in their stores. Other franchises that have done the same include White Castle and Panera. There are still many people behind the counter in these locations that have touchscreens. And there are still employees in the back in these restaurants, waiting to assist customers in any way possible. By introducing these new touchscreens and kiosks, management has had to come up with new organizational designs and incorporate this new technology into their ideas. The CEOs of these franchises say they still value their employees and think it's up to them to give the customer a great experience. Although this may be true, many people still think this technology will leave more employees jobless over time. In a widely cited paper released last year, University of Oxford researchers estimated that there is a 92% chance that fast food preparation and serving will be automated in the coming decades. This is still a while away, and as of now, digital technology will slowly over time create efficiency and labor savings for restaurants. Workforces would only drop as a result by 5% or 10% at a maximum in the decades to come.
Uber is an American international transportation networking service. As an alternative to the taxi cab, Uber users can get in touch with a driver within minutes and they can be picked up at their exact location. This method of transportation is becoming increasingly popular with the younger generation and in college towns. This becoming so popular, in fact, that it is safe to say that Uber may be moving closer and closer to driving taxi cab drivers out of business. Cab drivers are bound by special regulations and their prices are set in stone. Uber drivers aren't bound by these regulations and they are able to offer a cheaper price for the same service. Also, Uber seems to be the more convenient service. Taxi drivers are unhappy, to say the least. There have been numerous protests. Taxi drivers feel as though Uber drivers should be required to follow the same rules and regulations that traditional taxi drivers follow. Uber responded by saying that the taxi cab industry should be open to technological advances within the industry itself. Uber has also been banned in many places around the world. Some of these places include Nevada, Cape Town, South Africa, and New Delhi, India. There's been a big trend in creating Uber-specific rules and regulations. If said rules and regulations are passed, it may decrease the competition with taxi drivers. It could potentially cause many operational problems for Uber in the future.
A very new up-and-coming area where computers are replacing the tasks of humans is within medicine. At this point in time, unlike the far-reaching replacement of computers for jobs like cashiers, the intrusion of computers in medicine hasn't gone that far. This is because dealing with human health and life is much more highly valued in society. It's a matter of life and death, not a $5 burger. Fundamentally, change in this arena moves at a slower pace of acceptance by the general population. This technology must prove itself time and time again to be trusted. Automation in medicine is happening. For example, Johnson & Johnson's Cedace system, already FDA approved, can automate the delivery of low-level anesthesia applications like those for colonoscopies at a fraction of the cost of an anesthesiologist. In this way, a doctor can supervise multiple machines at once. Surgeons already use automated systems to aid in low-invasion procedures. Right now, the doctor is in charge, but eventually machines might do simpler procedures themselves. According to research, there have already been demonstrations of how a robotic system could remove tumors from tissue. There is also at least one hair transplant robot on the market, allowing one surgeon to oversee multiple procedures at the same time. Some find it hard to believe how machines could do fully automated surgeries because of anatomical variations. However, many could not have predicted how much the technology has progressed thus far, so the probability exists. In both of these examples, fewer human resources are used. These processes could increase efficiency within healthcare, but also cause a decreased need for jobs. In any light, it is definitely something to be aware of and follow how it is changing the organizational structure of businesses and systems.
The world around us is constantly changing due to progressions in technology. Organizations that are not able to appropriately adjust to technological progressions will often be unable to compete in the modern market. Unfortunately, these progressions can, at times, result in needing to adjust entire organizational structures. Even for organizations as old as public libraries, it is essential to adopt technological advances that affect their long-lasting organizational structures. With the widespread adoption of the home computer over a decade ago, libraries had to switch to an online system that allowed visitors to search for the location of books online rather than filing through a card catalog. Furthermore, in recent times, people can easily order books to be shipped to different locations. This means that workers in places like bookstores and libraries are less likely to be helping people find the books that they want. This results in an increased job specialization. The average librarian does not need to be as informed in the many different aspects of the job, since newer technology does a lot of the work they did previously for them. With the increased popularity of DVDs and lessening interests in books, bookstores and public libraries started to shift their structures to support other forms of entertainment. With the current popularity of reading devices such as the Kindle, some libraries and bookstores have already started changing their organizational structure. When you enter a bookstore now, they will likely be selling the latest advances in reading technology on the main counter. Many associates will be well versed in helping customers purchase the books that they want to read online through their Kindle rather than the hard copy. Even through the modern progressions, there will always be those customers that still want the old experience. One of the unique challenges that bookstores and libraries face is keeping their old consumer base satisfied, while simultaneously advancing their business model for the latest changes. It will be interesting to see how the world of books adapts to the newest technological challenges.
In this video, you have seen just how many ways technology is changing organizational structures throughout various businesses. For many, it can be very helpful in gaining information and making it more efficient. However, for many businesses, it is changing completely their staffing and just how they go about day-to-day business. Just like Catherine talked about with McDonald's replacing many employees with computers, or how Kevin talks about Uber leaving taxi drivers jobless with the new technology of instantly finding a Uber instead of having to hail down a taxi. Also, Amelia talked just how anesthesiologists, surgeons, and diagnostics are being left with this new technology taking their jobs. Also, Irtaza talked about how bookstores and libraries are now becoming less and less needed because everything is right there on the internet. Our big question is just how much of a role will technology take in the future, and what jobs that are here today will be gone tomorrow.